Hello everybody, Darren here, and welcome back to Satisfactory. Now in the last episode, I expanded my fuel refineries and overclocked 50 of my fuel generators to give me a power boost of about 15,000 megawatts. Now that extra power has given me room to expand and start thinking about new factories. So the next one is going to be a crystal oscillator factory with an AI limiter factory sort of inside of it. Now for the most part, that factory is going to have all of its materials required nearby, but with my current plans, it's going to consume 420 rubber per minute. Now, rubber is already made here at the oil processing facility, but I'm just short of what I need. I only make 400. So, what I'm going to do today is boost this by utilizing the leftover 1200 polymer resin that I was just temporarily sending into an awesome sink. We're going to turn that through 30 refineries into 600 additional rubber. We're going to feed it up to the station, merge it with the other 400 we already make here, and there we go. We can send it via rail to the Oscillator Factory and to anywhere else it needs to go. So, let's begin. So here we are at the oil processing facility. I thought I would just quickly show some of the aesthetic changes that have happened in the previous episode, or since the previous episode, excuse me. And effectively, our third platform here, where we handle the blue crater oil that comes in, 2,550 oil per minute, flows into this area here along 13 fluid freight platforms. So because this was such much longer than the two train stations over there, decided to give it its own little dome separate to that one, and it's a little bit shorter in height as well, so it kind of breaks up the factory quite nicely. This place is becoming so big, at least for me now, that it's hard to even see it all in one kind of cohesive view without getting really far away from it. But I just thought I would quickly show it off so we can run inside and have a look at some of the other changes. So just really quickly, this big block here is where the 40 refineries are that we just built for the fuel, and then in the kind of distance is the 50 fuel generators. Then we have the kind of tower and the sky bridge that leads over to the actual train station. The two train stations are connected, and we've actually got our fuel coming in right now, so I'm just going to ride the train and take you on the journey that brings us inside. And then I had a good look around for where I was going to build this extra rubber. So because this little area here makes the 40 refineries make the polymer resin, I was thinking of actually building up above it, but the rubber is made on the other side of the factory. So we're really just going to be focusing over there. So I'm just going to get moving off this now, hop through, and find our way out to where we want to go. So just around this way basically, and then on the opposite side of the factory I'll show you where the rubber is currently being made. And that way it'll just give some perspective as to why I'm choosing to build where I am. Because I thought it'd be cool to build on top of it, because it's such a big, flat, empty rectangle, and I thought it would give it some height and some distinction. And some people had recommended that, but unfortunately, it just makes too much sense to build it over this way. So on this floor, we've got ventilation. This is the floor between floors that really just houses some of the chimney stacks. These are actually fuel generators dealing with turbo fuel, and that's going to go out, into the air or whatever. It's a sort of floor between floors as well until you get up to station logistics, which is where I actually handle all of anything that needs to go up to a station above. You can see they're all clipping through the ground. I need to kind of tile over this roof eventually, but it's just one of those things. Just another thing to do. Add it to the list. Anyways, over here is where rubber comes in. It comes in from down below. And there's 20 refineries just off of one crude oil node that are just making rubber. And that's just been sent up here and fed into the train station. And I don't actually currently have a train that takes it anywhere. It's just sat there. 400 rubber just sat there. And I kind of built it as a future-proof kind of thing. I was like, oh, well, eventually we're going to use this somewhere. Anyway, let's head downstairs now to the main facility. And if you remember, we have this big open area here. Just nothing there. So this is a perfect place to do the expansion and to house all of these refineries, to handle the rubber, and then merge it with the rubber that's over that way, and then send it upstairs. So that's the plan. So let's get cracking. So in order to start off, we have the to-do list on the right-hand side of the screen. Oscillator pre-build, rubber and resin room, logistics to rail storage, and then extending the railway itself all the way out to where we're going to build this. I've got a bunch of materials here for me. Hopefully I've thought of everything, and then I've also blueprinted the rubber residue kind of building that we want. So this is the one I'm going to be using. The reason I blueprinted it is just to hook up some of the logistics already, and also to put a couple of signs on it so that we can kind of make it look a bit nicer. So the plan is effectively, do I have any room in my inventory at all? No. So I'm just going to throw a couple things out on the ground there, maybe even one other thing, and just start hacking away at these walls. So we want to kind of cut it from here. all the way down and then use this. Oh, also, the other reason I'm building here is because the refineries need water, and this is just a better side of where the water is, rather than building it on a second floor where we wouldn't have been able to access that. Alright, so we just cut all that away. We've actually got a little thing here. Alright, no problem. Can't actually pick that up yet. Let's just pick this up, destroy it, and then away we go. Alright, so we'll clear out our inventory now, basically, because we're just going to build this out. So let's get the foundations. The metal foundations is kind of our logistics and walkway area below. And then we build a walkway on top of it, I mean. It's sort of our maintenance area. I'll just go all the way out 10. 10 should be far enough. It's probably even too much. Let's do it this way. And just hack away all of this. I'll extend it all back out later. Perfect. So we need to build 30 refineries in total, and because of the weird shape and layout of this crude oil node, might stick about 6 or 7 in at first, and then build the other in another line or 2 lines maybe after that. Alright, there we go. So we are paved all the way out to here. Okay, so the next phase is to actually start throwing down these blueprints and getting a feel for the shape and size of the place. So this is a hallway, then this will be a walkway. So we'll just extend the walkway all the way along. Like so. This will be a walkway as well, because that's the hall. Alright, we can pick all that material back up. Right, okay, we're good to go. So let's start. So we'll go to blueprints, we'll grab our refinery residual rubber, and place it around this way and tuck it right in, as far in as we can go before it kind of looks like it's clipping. So I'm looking at the pipes on the left of this refinery. You can see they just start to clip through the foundation there, so I'll just bump it over a little bit and then get it as close to the wall as possible. I think that basically does it. We'll just make sure it's right. Yeah, it looks good. We have our little rubber sign on top. It has its recipe selected already. Blueprints are a dream. And, actually, this is even in the center underneath the foundation. Perfect. Alright, cool. So let's just keep doing that. We'll switch it now to blueprint mode. Hold control, rotate around, and just slam pretty much as many of these in as we can. Alright, looks like we can fit another couple. One more, and then maybe extend this out as a walkway, yeah? Yep, works out really well, actually, because this will just connect to that. And this will connect over this way. Alright, we've got our next layer. So, what is that? That's 8. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? 8 out of 30. Now, did I queue up these? No. So let's just go to 22, because that's what we've got left. So 22 of these are left. I should have all the materials. Yep, we're good to go. Alright, let's just do it again. We can kind of cut this away, because we're going to go further out on this side, because 8 isn't an easy division into 30, so we'll have to compensate with the other lines for that. So let's just work out from this side again, just the very same way we did before. I don't think there's any issue with doing that. The rubber can actually all be combined onto one, because we're going to get 600, and my best belt does 780. So because of that, it can all be fed onto one belt. So all these mergers can connect up to have the same amount of rubber on it, but the water and the polymer resin coming in are going to have to be divided up, because it's 1200 water required and 1200 polymer resin. Alright, just hold control. Beautiful. We even have the little electric poles on top and everything. Looking damn good. So this is where it gets a little interesting. Because of this crude oil, we're going to be clipping through it a little bit, but I can probably just fix that. Did I build that twice? No. Yeah. So this bit. So we'll cut that away. I'll go to architecture. Just get a walkway like this. And that'll keep it separate, and then of course in the future, like, you know, I'll be railing this entire place, kind of like that. So that way it just keeps it a bit separate. Looks purposeful. Looks good. Okay. So we have our splitters here with their... Oh yeah, I didn't even check. The inputs are facing the right way, actually, yeah. Okay, good. Because the resin's going to be coming from over there, so we want them to be fed in through here and go along that line. And we're facing all of these the same way, so that shouldn't be a problem. Alright, cool. Yeah, let's just keep going. We've got room for more, so let's just add more on. I didn't check how many that was. I think the even number here would be 11. Right, so that's 11 on this line. And then another line of 11 is the final amount. And then we'll just figure out how to hook all of this stuff up together. Alright, so looking good. Looking good. Quite quick as well. Alright, so yeah, perfect. Actually, really great distance on these. So we'll just, again, extend the... I like to use the glass frames because I like to run the belts and stuff underneath the walkways. And it's nice to be able to see them every now and then. Although, with the reflections in the game, it makes it kind of tricky to see that stuff. But better than nothing, especially when the roof is on. It gets a little darker, so you can kind of see through a bit better. I would love it if they added ray tracing to this game. I mean, it would tank performance, I guess, but it'd be pretty cool if they did. I mean, it runs in Unreal. Lots of Unreal games have ray tracing and DLSS and stuff like that. I feel like for 1.0, maybe they'll do something with it. Certainly DLSS seems like a no-brainer just to include it. Anyways, Alright, the next 11, I guess that's really what it comes down to. So just build the next 11 right here, just the same way we just did, and continue on. So we want to tuck this right in to the edge, and then bring it out, and then bring it right towards us. I think that's correct. Always just want to look at this pipe and make sure it's not flowing over. Yeah, it's good. And we're centralized here, so that's another good way to tell. Alrighty, so the final 10, and I should have all the materials, so we can just slam these down. Took a long time to pull all this stuff together. And there. Alright, good. So we'll have to extend the roof out to connect up our power. And maybe change some of these things. So, for instance, I'm happy to leave that facing the way it is, but this pipe could be maybe tucked in over this way a bit better. So I'm just going to grab pipeline support right here. And another thing I'm going to do is change this to be a foundation 1 rather than foundation 2. Alright, and that just gives us some breathing room under the walkways for the pipe. So this pipe will come pretty much to here. We'll just have to cut that for a second. Hope it doesn't freak out. Alright, so we just redirected the pipes a little bit there. That shouldn't really be an issue. This pipe is even full, interestingly. It's not going to empty out. I haven't actually hooked up the rest of it yet, so I'm surprised this isn't emptying out yet. Anyway, I guess it doesn't matter. Whatever. I'll have to check on that to make sure that's okay, that it is consuming correctly, but it should be. Alright, that's the crude oil. Okay. Alright, we just redirected. Create a little bit more space here for other stuff in the future. So, rubber and resin. Polymer, resin, water, rubber. No power. So let's go bit by bit. I suppose the first thing to do would just be hook up all this power together. Shouldn't take too long. We just connect the cables on top of the roofs now. And then we'll have to hook up all the pipes and start doing the logistics, build the water extractors, and then feed the resin in from the other room. And then send this up to the floor above. Alright, so let's just do the same here. I don't know where that's going right now. Oh, that's actually a power line. Oh, that's good. Okay. A little hard to see. But we'll put the roof on next, actually. I think after the power is done here, then it's time for the roof. So I was having a look at the comments of the previous episode regarding the location for the Crystal Oscillator Factory. And some people say, like, oh, maybe you want to hold off on building that there, just because it's got such an abundance of materials that it might be better to wait for nuclear power and stuff like that. I'm sure people are probably right with that, but I kind of just look at the next stuff right in front of me. I don't know what's required for nuclear because I haven't unlocked it yet. So if I need to change things, I'll change it. I'm sure it's fine. Ultimately, I'm moving stuff across the map just because I find it fun. So I don't need to be super optimal with building like right next to everything. I'm sure I can just move it. Although people have said like nuclear is really big. But looking at the map where the deposits are, I only know where 2 of them are. They're far away from that area, so stuff is going to have to move either way. So I don't really see an issue with it. But I did read that feedback. Most people are saying, yeah, it's totally fine to build there, but there's just a couple people said that maybe, you might want to look ahead a bit. But I'm sure it'll be fine. What's the worst that could happen? You have to redo everything. Oh, dear God. All right, so rooftop is the next thing. So let's grab this roof tile here. We'll rotate it around that way, I think. Just extend it all the way out. My color swatches are all totally messed up, by the way. Everything's just building black now. Which I'm not really too sure why. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Alright, there we go. So that is the roof done and colored and painted. Looking good. Alright, so we just have to make sure that these are hooked up to power. The opposite side. So they're connected. They just need to be connected to each other now. And they're on the same line, so that should be nice and smooth. Then we can connect this one to that one, and that powers all of them on. And then we'll connect this one over here somewhere. Right about there, and that should power all of these on. Okay, cool. Making good progress, making absurdly good progress, I would say. Alright, so next is a little bit of tedium, because we're going to have to hook up all of these things. So let me just sort my inventory. I've got lots of free space now, so I left some alclad in this box for me to go pick up, and we're going to need a lot of it to connect all of the belts together. So, let's get down to the end first and go row by row. So this is the first row, and this will be taking in... Oh yeah, interestingly, actually, there'll have to be a belt. Oh my god, are these all using Mark V belts? Ooh, they don't need to be. I must have blueprinted it wrong, so I'll have to update those. I want them to only be using Mark 1. Not that it really matters, but I'd prefer them just to use Mark 1. Alright, good. Yeah, so I'll have to have one of those for here. But it'll clip through pretty badly, so I might have to do that kind of situation again here. Or you could just go underneath, I think. Don't know if this would really work. Does that work? It does kind of. Just as an example. How much would that clip through? Not that much. Yeah, it's right on the edge. But it'd still look weird. I think I'll probably just cut this. Do this. I think it looks kind of cooler anyway. And in fact, we could even make it more specific. Yeah. And then, of course, we could just cap the rest of it off. Not to get too distracted. I could do the rails all right now, but I'll just leave it. But just good to know that we could do that. So this will be where the stuff comes up. Okay, totally fine. All right, so let's scroll back. We'll get our belt, Mark 5 out of our minds, and we'll just scroll along like this on this row, and then pretty much do every subsequent row, and then we'll follow it all the way back to get the polymer resin. Okay, so that should be all of the belts are now hooked up. And interestingly, this side actually has a little bit more room for these to just slot right down, so that's kind of perfect. The other side unfortunately doesn't, because there's just the way the oil node thing was there, and just the way it's kind of collapsed in from this side. But it's as tightly packed as it can get, basically, so can't really change it. Alright, so that's the polymer resin in to every machine. The next thing then, I guess, would be down below, hooking up all the pipes together, and then hooking up all the outputs. So effectively just to do it once, just so we can show everybody. We're just hooking up all the pipes with a Mark II pipe, and then I'll work out the rates afterwards. Normally when I'm building machines, I would kind of do this I would say like, okay, I have a pipe of 600, therefore I can have XYZ amount of machines. But this time I'm doing it to fit it within the building, and then I'll just try direct the amount of water or whatever else we need here. So we'll see how that goes, but I think it'll be okay. So this is going to be the actual rubber heading out towards the storage area. Just want to make sure that's correct. Yeah, that's correct. And just bring it, whoops, all the way down to the end. And I'll have to do this for every row, so I'll just do this one time for this one. Alright, there we go. So that leaves us room here to go out that way. And connect onto the other rows. Oh, I actually just did the middle row. I thought I did the first one. That's fine. Alright, I'll do the other ones now. Alrighty, so all of my pipes should be pretty much now hooked up. So the pipes, the belts, they're all connected to each other. So all of the machines are pretty much ready to go. What I'm going to do now is just do a little cleanup on some of the bits that we don't necessarily need anymore. So just while it's nighttime, get rid of this external stuff, because that can all go, and that frees up room for our water extractors anyways, so that's good. So from this location here, over there is actually where the petroleum coke and the rubber is. So I was thinking I might just extend this, connect right over. And then this leads to rubber production right over here. So that's nice. So I'll just grab this sign, move it there for a second. Copy that, paste that, get rid of this. Okay. So what I'm thinking is this little cubby, this little extra area here, could be used as a sort of a floor that takes stuff from here up to the logistics area, which is in here. So what I'll probably do in the future is a lot of this petroleum coke just flows along here, goes into a storage bay, and goes upstairs from this location. And it's kind of awkward. And there's a lot of empty space here for this. There's another crude oil node here that I'm just not even using. So I'll have to use it at some point, probably get more fuel out of it or something. So what I'll probably do is maybe, I don't know if I'll do it now, but reverse the direction of these. And they could flow out this way. Oh, by the way, sorry, down there, the other row, that's rubber. That's where the rubber comes out and just goes up as well. So instead of having that there, if we reverse the direction over this way, and it flowed out this way, and then this rubber flows out this way, this could be the area where petroleum coke and rubber all goes upstairs, and anything else if we can ever send anything down here. So that seems like it would work out really nicely. So I'll just pave this, and we'll reserve it for that a little bit later. Although we can start working on the logistics for it now, I suppose. Right, so these mergers are the mergers for rubber, and rubber can all fit on one thing. So let's grab a belt on one belt. Grab a belt, send it to here, rotate it and bring it along the center of the foundation line. Gonna grab a merger, put it in the center here, send it to the right. This can merge in there, that can merge in here, and this can come with me. I'll do the same here. So another merger right in the center, facing towards me this time. You come in. Did I do that right? No. Alright, you come in here. Your buddy can go in there. Okay, so that's all of the rubber lines merged onto one merger, which sends it out this way. And that's going to then, I guess, just go up there. So we'll just bring it to here. Just to let me know where that's going to go, we'll just leave it there. Alright, so that's all the rubber from all of these 30 machines all on one belt flowing there. Hopefully going to go upstairs. This place is so dark. I have to get lights in this part of the factory as well. Other parts are lit. That part was never lit, actually, so there's a few of those little things still to do. So much to do, never enough time. But things are coming along quite nicely. So how's my inventory looking for stuff? Yeah, I've got loads of alclad. That's what we're going to need. So what? And do I have space? I do. So what I'm going to do now is slightly unorthodox. This is where I had all of my batteries. It's not that many, really, considering the scale of the factories we're building now. So I'm going to get rid of them, and I'll build a dedicated battery room or something somewhere else. The main reason I want to do this is because this would be a perfect area to bring the belts along to send it out towards where we're going. So that's what I want to do. So just while we go downstairs here, I'll just chop that away. That's not needed anymore. Neither is that. Neither is that. Yes, that's fine. Not that I need to do this, but I just kind of want to. Just want to change this to a floor 1 foundation. Alright, and that can be cut. So now I'm looking for a wall with a... Do I want the conveyor hole? Yeah. And then just a regular wall, I guess? Maybe a door, in case we ever have to walk through this place. Alright, we'll change the material to be steel. Good. So now we've got a line, a clear line, for 2 belts to go out that way. We'll leave this blank. And the belts are going to basically flow straight along here. And this is going to be the polymer resin coming from all the refineries that are above us. That's not needed either. Yeah, so we run into this little problem. That's okay. We'll just get rid of this and we'll go under it. Alright, so I got the iron plates. I actually went ahead and built the whole thing out and then realized it's facing the wrong direction. So I have to put it back in the right spot. It's supposed to be facing away from me, not towards me. And you can't reverse the belt once you've built it, so it wouldn't... I caught it just before I was going to actually connect it up to anything, but... Thought I would save you the time of looking at that disaster. But yeah, now it's facing the right direction anyway, so it shouldn't be a problem. Alright, cool. So let's just hook these up to their little poles. Just get rid of the actual belts that are here. Okay, so I'm check up ahead. So basically I added just these little ramps in here. And we're just going to follow the ramps down and under. The reason I added ramps is just so I can walk underneath if I ever need to nicely without having to jump or crouch or whatever. So, it works out a little bit better. Alright, cool. Up you go. Now, for some reason, this was a little finicky just a second ago when I was building it. So I'll try it again now that we're facing a different direction. Yeah, it doesn't want to do it there, even though that's exactly what I'm doing on the other side. I had that in the actual conveyor pole there and it still wouldn't want to do it, so strange. It can go before it or after it. Right, so each of these need to take in the 600 polymer resin that's coming out of every group of 20 machines. So I'm just trying to see where that's going to be. So it's here. So I'll have to do this ramp kind of business again. So this is where it comes out. I know it's really tightly packed in here. Let me just pull back a bit with the field of view. So this is where polymer resin comes out, and it's just flowing temporarily into an awesome sink. So I want it to go straight down and go between and underneath these pipes and get out this way. So it's really messy, but I think if I just do this again. Let's just try that for a second and see what this looks like. So this is where it's going to come down. I'll have to actually start cutting this now. Is that a good idea? Because all the fuel is going to get backed up and things might break down if I do that, actually. So maybe I could just wait. Can't put a merger underneath itself. Is that where it needs to go? No, it needs to go a little further back than that. Even further back than that. Wow, okay. So that's going to be where it's coming out. Okay, good. So I'm just, as long as I have that to work with, I can just temporarily just do this, and that way I can just put the belt down before I actually hook everything up. Alright, so that's where it's going to come straight down. This will come out. Yeah, we could just make this a ramp as well then. So this can go back to being normal. And then this could be a ramp. Like so. And this will just flow pretty much to there and then up. Ah, so it's built the wrong way again. But at least the conveyor poles are correct, so not a big deal. But it's just good to know. Alright, so that's totally fine. We can just leave that the way it is. But yeah, you connect to here. Alright. Okay, so just this one now. So do this, bring it across about there. Gives us room to walk on the other side. Alright, we can bring this all the way over here and come up and get do the same thing over this way. So this is where this one will be coming down. It's just going to hit straight into here somewhere, so we'll just go like this, turn. It's definitely going to connect just fine, and we'll bring this out all the way over and down again. I don't know if it needs to use... I suppose it could use a little elevator. Why not? Make sure the direction is correct. Now, I've been meaning to put doors here. Actually, that's not even needed there, so that's fine. That one's okay. Yeah, sometimes I'll have little maintenance doors to get in and out of this place, so try to improve that, but not that it really matters. Probably never come down here again, hopefully. Ideally, never come down here again. Alright, so there's the belt going, squiggling along in a little bit of a weird way. Maybe I'll just cut this and this and just let it connect a bit more naturally. Ugh, really doesn't... It's trying to connect into something else. Get up. Alright, there we go. Wow. Okay, good. So I'll have to come back here, and when I'm ready, just sever that connection, and then make the lift so that they flow in here and the polymer resin can make its way out. But the main important thing is just that this is now connected. So we'll just follow along. Underneath the floors, Mark V belts, 600 in each, flowing towards all of these 30 refineries. Okay, finally we're out, and I can breathe. So yeah, now we'll just have two nice little belts running alongside each other this way. Alright, so I was having this problem again where I wanted this pipeline to have a free kind of entrance area and not clip through the lift that's going to be coming down here as well. So this is actually a tighter spot than it was over on the other side. There's like 2 grid spaces more over on that side, so this is making it really tricky. I can't put the merges next to each other. They won't let their belts go into each other. So what I've ended up deciding is that I'm going to just build a conveyor pole pretty much, I'm not entirely sure even where, maybe here? And bring it all the way up to this height. And then just join that on. So I'll actually be able to see the polymer resin flowing by. One thing that kind of disturbs me about this is that it removes access to the ladder. Not that I really had it anyway, I'll be railing this, but still, that'll be one thing that would slightly irk me. Like if you're building this place, you'd be like, why is there a ladder there then, you know? But anyway, doesn't really matter. And that's what we're going to do instead. So that can just feed in that way. Alright, so back on track with that now implemented. It means that the pipe is now free to get out, and we have this little polymer resin flowing along this way. So in order to get this to work as well, I'm going to do another smart splitter. I think is the right choice to make. If I have to change any of these, I can. Alright, I got a little bogged down in hooking that one up. So effectively what's happening here is we've got the 2 lines of 600 coming in. One of them goes off this way, and then 320 is going to feed into all of these 8 machines over there. Once it kind of maxes out of that 320, the overflow kicks in, and it'll flow along this way towards this merger. This is just a regular merger. That merger then just goes into the next row of 11. So there's 11 machines there that need 440. So there'll only be 280 left on this line to go that way. This line, which is a fresh 600, will be coming along here. Goes into a smart splitter, which will send rubber that way, and when this hits an overflow, it goes out that way. So that should, I think, sort out the situation. I think so. We'll see if it doesn't, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Alright, cool. So that means that this is just the last little the last bit that's left, and that needs to then go into down here. So I'm just going to do the same thing I just did over in the other place. Bring this over. So I think it was here. Conveyor pole, bring it all the way up to my height, add that to that. We'll make a lift, and then that needs to join onto here. Alright, so hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully it works. I think it should, but that's all of our polymer resin now basically hooked up. So the next thing is water extractors. So I guess the way I could do this is we can look at one group. So 40, well, it's the same thing, isn't it? It's 440. 40 times 11. 440. So we need 440 water to feed one row, 440 water to feed another row, and then like 320 to feed the final row. And then we should be good. So I'm just trying to think how I'm going to build this place. I suppose just utilizing out here would probably look the nicest. Yeah. And then I actually have room for pipes to flow along that way. So about there. So if we put the pipeline junction cross right here, our water extractor should just snap to it if we hold control. And then we'll just push it back a little bit to give it some room for the pipe to kind of extend. So is that good enough? Are we encroaching the pillar too much? Nope, just about the right amount. I think I need 6. 4. Alright, cool. Thinking about it, I actually don't know if I need that walkway or not, really. But, yeah, so we'll just get rid of that right now. Alright, cool. So down here, we'll hook up pipe logistics. So these are going to basically be operating on... So I need 2 of them to be 220. What the hell? Oh, 220. There we go. So 220. And can I can't get out of that. There we go. Can't copy and paste that. Okay. Some of these you can copy and paste, and I guess some you can't. Alright, 220. So that's going to be one line. And we'll tuck that in as far over as it goes. So I guess we had something like this. 1, 2, and 3. This is our 3 pipelines. Or where they will be. So let me just move that down here. Alright, cool. So, let's, that should be aligned now with the center here. Are all of these aligned with the center of something? This is every half foundation, actually, they're aligned. That's great. Yeah, pretty much. Cool. Really good. So we'll start with the far side first. So if that's the case, we need to go about here. We'll grab this pipe. This could be just a Mark 1. I'll just get it to go in on the correct spot. 2. And I can come straight down there, merge into that. Nice, so that just plugs straight in there. That one plugs straight in there, and that's one pipeline done. So that's 440 per minute on that one. So these two can just go away. They're just there for me to see where these need to be. Alright, so I'm basically just going to have to keep doing that. Now really quickly, I'm going to have to just build a crafting bench, because I'm out of power shards. We just picked up those slugs, so there should be enough shards, I think, to get me through the rest. We've got 5, and then we're getting another 5. Yeah, it's plenty. Gonna have to go out and do a run looking for them though again. Alright, so yeah, let's just continue that. So again, if we get the supports, we can start it this way. It's probably a bit more efficient. Start the support there. I never noticed this about the spacing of these, that they actually have pretty good spacing. And then this pipeline is just going to continue all the way down by itself. So let's just let that kind of be separated out in a way. And to be honest, this can now just flow right in there. Now, it's a bit weird flowing in at the end like that, but it's more just for me mentally to know kind of what's happening. So that's actually a little too far over. Yeah. Alright, cool. So there's one straight in. That's 440. So these two now need to be overclocked to 440. Alright, maybe up and over is the way to go then. I guess so. Alright, we'll bring this out this way. If we want to go up and over, we have to be clear of the foundations. 2. So we'll start on the half foundation here. Make sure it's lined up. Up, up, up. Maybe just to there would be nice. Alright, and this row just plugs straight into that. And that's our water done for that row. So that's 440 in there. And then the final one's just going to be here on the left, and that's 320. So it still needs... Yeah, so what's going to need instead is its junction thing needs to be right here. So probably that can just go away, right? Because we're not going to be able to fit a pipe like that. No, I'm just getting my feet wet. God damn it. Alright, and that's our 360, is it? 320? 320. It's our 320 pipeline. So it's still more than 300, so we need a pipeline Mark II. And then, similarly, these can go forward. Oh my god, alright, what an effort. But that should be that done. Okay? This little bit looks a bit weird. Let's fix it. Okay, there we go. So 6 extractors. Not that much with the overclocking. And then, yeah, we have a pipe of 320, pipe of 440, and another pipe of 440 going into our row of 11, 11, and 8. Goddamn. Alright, so, last thing then. Now we can just power these extractors. And I suppose this area will have to have a roof over its head. So we could just try to fly up here. Extend this roof out. Do I have what I need? I do. Just extend it like that. Maybe 2 tiles over, or maybe 3. Alrighty, so I've hooked everything up to power. They actually just need to be connected to the main grid. But before we can really turn on the water, turn on the polymer resin, we actually have to send the rubber somewhere. So we have a belt here that's going to be taking the rubber out. So it's going to go somewhere up to that floor. So we're going to go inside, quickly carve out a hole in the wall, and have a look at where we actually are. You might notice the frame rate dipping every now and then. I seem to be on the corner of an area between, I guess, tiles or something. Because as I cross the threshold from like there to there, I always get this big frame rate hitch. So something going on in that spot, basically. I think I actually said that a long time ago when building this place. Alright, so this is where rubber is going to go upstairs. So we've got 400 on this belt. So the way I was thinking of doing this is if we split 400 into 2 belts of 200, and then we split our belt of 600 into 2 belts of 300, we can merge both of them and get 2 belts of 500 and send them up to 2 separate train stations. And that way we're just filling 2 stations, or 2 platforms at the same rate, which I would like to do, just to keep things kind of more consistent. So let's just grab this, pull this down, pull that down roughly to the height of the other one. Is it even further up than that? Might be. Yep. But we've got all this floor space to kind of work out the logistics here, so it shouldn't be too tricky of a problem to do. Alright, good. So let's just hook this one up together as well. And these are only... they're Mark 5 now. Okay, good. So they're all Mark 5. Excellent. So that's rubber. 2 containers for rubber. And one's just feeding up to this train station above it now. The reason it's a bit sputtery is because the train station above actually only has Mark 4 belts. So that's the last time we built this place. So I need to work out the logistics for this, like I said. So that 400 line is going to have to split into 2. And ideally it'll actually be coming in from over here in the future, right? So we don't want it to come in from over there. Right, so if that's the case, elevators are going to carry stuff up this way. Let's say wall hole thing. So conveyor wall hole right there. We could just have it split into 2 actually, sorry. Yeah. Alright, cool. So that's going to be one line coming in that has 600 and another line coming in that has 400. And the stuff there that's in the way, that's where it gets, the petroleum coke gets fed downstairs. Oh, sorry, the compact coal goes into the turbo fuel. Right, so let's sort this out then. So a splitter, let's just start about here. And another splitter somewhere here. I'm kind of just going by the seat of my pants on this one, guys, so bear with me. Okay. So this is going to be a line of 400. So we're getting a 200 out and another 200 out. This is giving us 300 out and 300 out. So they need to be merged. We can create just one merger right between these two and say that that is our first group of 500. Yep. And then I might actually just raise this. So that's 500 out. Then to do the same again, we'll... Actually, yeah, I got another idea. Let's just cut that. It's 500 out going that way. So to do this again, we'll just get another merger right around here. Alright, and do the same thing, right? So you can just go straight in there. Okay, so what we have here now is a line of 600 going in, splitting, merging, and going up. So a line of 400 splitting, merging, and going up, and that's happening twice. So we're getting 500 out of it both times. So then to do something here, we'll just drag this one along to this point, raise that up, and just send it in. And then similarly do the same out this way. Alright, there we go. So those two lines of 500 are now both going into their respective stations. So what that means is we need to then create elevator shafts here to carry this stuff up. Okay. Good. And this will be another one for the petroleum coke a little later down the line, but I could just reverse the direction of the rubber and bring it out now. So just really quickly, we'll flow down here again. Cut that line. This is the rubber we've just worked on. And just sent it straight in. Okay, so that is now hooked up with an exit. It has somewhere to go. So really quickly, I'll probably cut this out because it's just going to be boring, but what I have to do really quickly is just head over to rubber and effectively reverse the direction of all of these mergers. What the hell is hitting me? Oh my god. Alright, there we go. So that's the Mark IV belt hooked up to its Mark IV elevator now, going up to the logistics floor. So effectively I still have to put a few things back in place, but I thought I would just show the route that I've taken. So I've made this little ramp thing again underneath, which is working out quite well for me. But then yeah, I've got this. So I have to kind of like rehook this stuff back up. So just really quickly, you could just go, Mark 1 belts are all that's needed to go in, and then we just need to put the glass floor back on. And that should be that. Alright, cool. So, yep, that's going to just basically flow, go all along here, go out this way. And then it's making its way upstairs. Awesome. Okay, so if we can... Oh, yes, I can. I can go upstairs by flying up here nicely. Going in there into my crazy splitter thing, and that's going to go upstairs into its respective train station. So, two things left to do then. Hook it up to the train station properly, so we'll just try and do that now really quickly. Just need to improve the belt speed. And then create an overflow handler for the polymer resin, and that way fuel won't just stop and get backed up and stuff. So this is now Mark V, please. Both of those need to be Mark V, and you need to be Mark V, and so do you. Okay, so then we can also say, copy that, paste that there. So that's rubber. Both of them are doing rubber now at the very end. So if we have a train, we need 1, 2, 3 empty freight at the front, unless we decide to put something else on it in future. Alright, so just make our way back downstairs so we can start to turn all this on. Okay, so do I have what I need to make an awesome sink? Let's just see. Yes, I do. Yeah, maybe just to kind of get it done, oh, actually, we do have a bit of space here. That seems like it might be a perfect spot for it, right? It might be a little too big, actually. But we could just chop away a bit of the walkway or change the belt in future. I'll just put it here for now. That's fine. Yeah, so that's a smart splitter. So if we get backed up to this point, go in there. Does that make sense? So I think it kind of balances. But either way, I'm getting bogged down. That's hooked up. Everything's hooked up. I think we're good to now connect the polymer resin and turn on the water. So I guess I'll turn on the water first, simply by connecting one of these over to there. So that's the water extractors. Should be online now. Alright, let's make a dash down towards where the polymer resin is. And then power that on. We should see our rubber flowing. See if we catch any issues. Tempted to get in one of those. This facility is massive now. It takes so long to get around it. These things seem to be doing just fine, right? 100%. Looks good to me. Alright, so this is the ones that we need to get rid of. Alright, here we are. So we'll cut this. Alright, and just like that, we are flowing polymer resin out on one of our lines, and then the other line needs to be done as well. Here. I can't see under these pipes, god damn it. There we go. Yep, let's do the same thing. And it's out. Good. Hopefully that wasn't any time for that polymer resin to actually get backed up and cause any issues. So just real quickly now, we'll just hop up here, get rid of this, and get rid of that one. And those belts are gone now as well. So that's all good. Alright, clean, clear. So let's just switch now to crimson and gold. I'll just color these back together. Alright, so that should be polymer resin flowing right below me now. You can actually just see it. Just barely, and then it'll go through into the room that's called batteries, but no longer batteries. Nice. It looks so good to see it just like kind of flowing along and working. So these guys, we're seeing some green lights, should be getting their water now. And now they should be getting their resin. But it's going to be the first row first. And then we'll start seeing them get backed up because of the way we did the overflow. So what's your deal? You're not getting what you should be. Ah, did I do this wrong? That's strange. It says center output. Oh, I'm an idiot. Yeah, sorry, not rubber. Polymer. There we go. We were just syncing it by accident, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Just make sure I didn't make that mistake over here. I don't think so. The right output is rubber. I did. Alright, so polymer resin then. Alright, so that should kind of fix it. So now we're going to be going row by row. This row's already gotten most of its rubbers, so that's good. Or polymer resin. So this should be the one to get it next. Still not flowing this way. What's going on? Center output is overflow. Did I not say it? What the hell? Polymer resin. Done. Did I not just do that? Oh, I must have just done it with that one. Okay, well, whatever. Got rubber on the mind. Anyway, that's flowing now. Good. So that should be it. That should be all flowing now. They're getting their polymer resin. We'll have to give it a few minutes to see the percentages increase to get up to 100%. But that's working. So I need to turn the crude oil node back on now. Down here. So that'll get all the rubber flowing again. I'll have to reverse the direction of the petroleum coke at some point, but we should see 600 effectively just flowing up there and 400 flowing up here. We're already, look at it, huge amounts. It's already happening. 98% efficient. They got their water. Ain't seen no problems nowhere. Nice. So while it's doing that, just really quickly, I'll just put on the railing here. A few of these different spots. That was a mistake already. Good job, Darren. Complete some of the aesthetics of it all. Now what I'm going to have to do is make a train, load this rubber, and then start taking it out to the new location and build that railway. There's going to be a huge amount of steel required to do that. I think I do have a lot of it with me. And I left some at the aluminum factory for me to use later. Now these are just painted black. I'll probably paint them black and gold, which I usually use for crude oil, but I also kind of use for rubber anyway. And that is me pretty much out of iron rods yet again. By doing that, we actually left access to the ladder there, but it's not quite right. I do sometimes do that, actually. You'll see it in some of my factories where I purposely leave this bit open so you can just climb up. I did it in the aluminum factory. I mean, you can still climb up anyway if you just jump. Whoops, if you're not an idiot. There we go. Alright, how's our rubber? Alright, we're flowing from both angles now. It'll take a little while for it to get up to speed as the crude oil fills the pipes again out that way, but it will happen for show. Nice. Alright, I guess that's my job done here. So that took quite a while, you know, but that is rubber and resin. I mean, we built 30 refineries, hooked up all the logistics, dealt with 1,200 polymer resin, sorted out the water that had to go into it as well. There just was a lot to it. But now, that is this facility making 1,000 rubber per minute. So, hopefully that's plenty. Obviously, who knows, in the future, probably end up needing even more, but my crystal oscillator factory, at least in my schematics and plans for it at the moment, are to have 420. So, we've got enough to deliver that. So let's just go up to the train station. Have a look at what we got in these places. So there's already, this is obviously maxed out 9,600. This is at 7,367. So that's almost full already. So yeah, do I have what I need to make a train? I feel like I might be lacking modular frames. I'm missing computers. Oh no. I think I've got some downstairs. Let's just go for a little walk and I can show you this place. I'm really happy with how this side came together because it actually really seamlessly blends in with the foundation. Looks really good. First did that down at the Blue Crater place, so it's a nice style that I'll probably keep going with now in the future. Alright, computers, anybody? No, there's supercomputers, goddamn. Alright, well, I gotta make a run down to Circuit City, which is just down that way. It's pretty close by, actually, but I'll just run down to Circuit City, come back with some computers. Well, I can actually just ride the train back, actually, from there, thinking about it, and just make sure I've got what else I need for it as well. I need, yep, I've got loads. I need 5 freight cars, so we'll pull into the station from down there then. This factory has become so big now that this place is like really close. They're almost merged into each other at this rate, which is quite funny. Right, Circuit City, man. It's been a while. Hopefully this place is running flawlessly. What's the problem? Everything's backed up, installed. Great. Is it just plastic? Oh no, it's screws. That's interesting. I actually sink a lot of screws. It's probably just not getting sent properly. And there's quick wire issues as well. Okay, well these ones are the ones doing... Oh man, they're only at half speed right now. Yeah, it seems like not enough screws. And then I had to temporarily change to make supercomputers down here as well. But they need AI limiters and computers to do that. Alright. Well, anyway, all I'm here for is the computers themselves, which we have lots of. Should be tons in this one. Yep. Just take 150 for now. What do we have in there? Nothing, and that's high-speed connectors and supercomputers, and this is a tremendous amount of circuit boards. That's where all my quick wire goes. Sweet. All right, so I'm just gonna head upstairs. I'll build a train. We'll ride the rails up to where we just were, the oil processing facility. So this will be the export line. I'm actually not sure which way. Yeah, this way leads out. All right, so electric locomotive. We'll face it this way. So I think I need 5 freight cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can mark off that as done. The rubber and resin room. Logistics to rail is also actually done. And now we just need to extend the railway. So I'm just going to hop in here real quick. We'll add a station. Edit the timetable. Bring me to oil processing exports, please. But only load rubber, if you can. Then I want you to go to aluminum imports, but I'll stop the train before we get there. Alright, so we'll turn on self-driving and just see. This is going to be an example train that would be the one bringing its stuff all the way out to the crystal oscillator place. So I'm not driving it, the train is. Alright, we're pulling into the terminal. And there is indeed 5 freight cars, and the last 2 are the ones doing rubber. So we should see it get pretty much fully loaded here. Keep this place running. I'll probably do a test in between episodes where I just let the place running without trains and see, am I sinking enough material? Because the interesting thing is, it's like a chain of, what's the word? It's like almost like a chain of command, cause and effect. If rubber ends up getting backed up, that means polymer resin isn't going to get consumed. If that doesn't get consumed, then fuel stops getting made. If fuel stops getting made, power breaks down. So you just got to make sure that we have those awesome sinks in place, handling any issue. Both if rubber gets full, if polymer resin gets full, all of those kind of issues. So there we go, we've loaded up 2 carriages, presumably of rubber. And we're going to head off now towards the aluminum facility, which is just over there actually. It doesn't look as far away either. But I'll take command of the train now and show you where we're heading next. So turn off self-driving, I'll just drive it for now. There was no issues when I did that last time. And we'll bank left here instead of going into the aluminum facility. And start building our railway. Alright, so this is pretty much as far as I can go. Obviously the railway ends here. And we shouldn't be blocking anything, we're on the other line, so that's fine. Nothing else uses this line. So we'll just stay where we are. Hop out for a second. Let's just check how much we delivered. 6,400 and 6,400, so they're both full. Excellent. I never actually knew that. I never realized that the freight cars hold less than the freight platforms, but it's the same with fuel, I guess, so makes sense. So what I need here is an incredible amount of railway. So I'll have to go back and pick up more stuff, but just as an example, yeah, I've got the steel, but not enough concrete, not nearly enough. I do have it, actually, just nearby, but I wanted to show that I've got this blueprinted now, and I'll be building this out like crazy. So if I go to... Actually, I have it on the hotbar. I initially planned on starting the episode by doing this, but then I thought it didn't really make any sense. So we'll have to turn off blueprint mode, because it's not actually blueprinted in the first place. Throw down the first one. Switch back to blueprint mode. And then we could just run this train line all the way out. So this is effectively going to have to go all the way to that Oscillator Factory area that you saw before. Now I've mapped out roughly how far I need to go before taking turns. And I've just done that by judging I with terrain level. And that's it. That's as far as I can go without getting more concrete. So just over there, I have to go to that place and then bank right, because I've cleared a path in terms of trees, and I can get over that little bit of the mountain. I like to keep my... And that's roughly where I'm aiming for, by the way. So yeah, I like to keep this this entire railway is at the exact same height the whole way around. Now, eventually, obviously, I'll raise it to go up places. The only place I've ever raised it before was up here. So I'll probably just do that again. But yeah, I thought I would just mention that. I've also made a little mining enclosure as well. So the one that I built pretty much up there to house my bauxite, I've just blueprinted it. So now I can just build this. It's got a little output area for whatever the miner's doing. And then I just need to make sure I place it over a node where there's enough room for the miner to be inside. And then it just kind of works. So this is a really great little enclosure I'll be building on top of different resource deposits if they're not inside of a building already or something. So that's pretty much going to be it for this episode. I'll build the rest of this out. You don't need to see me doing it, right? Maybe I'll time-lapse it so you can see it, but I don't think it would look that good. It's just going to be me running, extending this pretty much all the way from here over to here, where I've got 2 trucks and a bunch of storage containers ready to go with building that place. And then I've got an update to my Excel sheet from the previous episode, where I'm now going to be targeting 60 crystal oscillators per minute. Oh, is that a problem, being on this junction? It looks like it is actually a problem for this train. I guess because the block is on the junction? Is that why? That's a bit strange. They should be separate lines. Like, that... It's always a problem with this game. It's like, you could just bank left. It doesn't really matter if anyone else is on your junction, but I suppose that's just the way I've done the signal, so I'll have to fix that. It's good to see these things, actually. So we'll just take a turn. Once I pass that block signal, that train should keep going, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to just have a quick look at that and fix it. But good. Alright. So, when we go out there, I'll actually need something along the lines of 30-ish... 62 refineries is needed in total. 62 refineries, 46 constructors, 12 assemblers, and 32 manufacturers. That's going to allow me to produce the crystal oscillators at about 60 per minute, and it's going to consume 4,000 megawatts of power. I was going to aim for 75 crystal oscillators, which actually worked out really nicely in terms of the numbers, except for raw quartz. It would mean that I would need 3 raw quartz deposits rather than 2, and I just didn't really feel like doing that. Plus, I also don't know if I'll need that many. 60 seems like a lot. I thought 15 was a lot, and people were saying, you might need a bit more. So 60? 60 per minute? Right? We should be good. Alright guys, that's going to have to be it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. Super building heavy. I feel like the builds are so big that I spend such a long time in just one room, but it kind of has to be done. And I felt like it was all worth showing, hopefully. Hopefully you can agree as well. Remember to smash that like button. Yeah? I never tell you to do that, but go on and do it just this once, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching the video. Consider liking it if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and if you want to support even further, consider becoming a channel member. Channel members get early access to my videos, ad-free, and also access to my Discord, where we've just set up a new Valheim and Satisfactory server for people to play on. Hopefully we can grow a community and add more games and perks in the future. Either way, I appreciate people just watching this far into the video. Thank you.